In a 1942 address to the American public, FDR summarized the strategy the Nazis had used to conquer Europe this way. Pit race against race, religion against religion, prejudice against prejudice, divide and conquer. And he added, we must not let that happen here. But that's exactly what's happened in my America. There is a war going on between red and blue, between the originalists and living constitutionalists, between the rich and the poor, and the power of the people has been marginalized by gerrymandering, money, and the two-party system, which our founding fathers never foresaw. It's not the job of our elected leaders to take sides. It is to serve all of us, and that's why I'm running for Congress. To do what's in the best interest of OH-10, my state, my country, and humankind. And I'm in advertising. I'm not a lawyer. Which makes me very different from my opponent.
That's a fact-based issue. I'm a lawyer
who has lost touch with everything except his billionaire buddies who keep putting their money behind him. He clearly says he works for the base, which he believes is the engine that runs our community. Other folks have said our region runs on meds, eds, and feds. But don't worry, he works for them too. He just doesn't work for you. The difference between lawyers and folks in advertising is a thing called creativity. The law is the only profession I know where you get extra credit for plagiarism. Everything is a citation. Advertising is creatively solving problems by juxtaposing ideas into new configurations.
We also talked about a deeper bond with the product.
To capture the hearts and minds of people, to motivate them to try something new. We need new right now, more than ever. There's another major difference between me and my opponent.
Good morning. We are coming on the air with breaking news. Israel has declared a sudden, unprecedented, and deadly surprise attack by Hamas this morning.
I raised my right hand and swore my life to protect the Constitution when I enlisted. I'm not sure he fully understands war because he's never trained for it. And that brings us to the wars going on right now. When Israel was attacked on October 7, 2023, and more than 1,200 Israelis died, that was the equivalent of if the 9/11 terrorists had killed 50,000 plus Americans instead of 3,000, based on a percentage of population. We went to war for 20 years over 9/11 and killed over 4.5 million humans, despite not a single 9/11 attacker being from either Iraq or Afghanistan. We spent $3.5 trillion, and my opponent voted for every weapon of war, every continuation, and cost the deaths of over 7,000 of our troops and untold damage to all the other veterans who served. Yet now, he's wavering on supporting Ukraine. For most of my life, and since the end of World War II, America has invested trillions to prepare to fight the Russian threat. Now when Ukraine is the underdog, battling Russians, laying their lives down to fight Russian aggression, Turner wants to play games and leave an ally hanging. It's easy for Mike Turner to send our young off to war. The closest his daughters got to war was on August 4th, 2019, when a person who should never have had access to a weapon of war turned it on my friends and neighbors in the Oregon district, killing 9 and wounding 17 in less than a minute. Turner still doesn't believe in the Second Amendment's ignored clause, a well-regulated militia, which he's never been a part of. His daughter was there and could easily have been a victim, yet he's done nothing to protect us or her. He didn't do anything to protect you when the unregulated behemoth banks failed in 2009 either.
We are in the midst of a serious financial crisis.
One of the largest transferences of wealth from poor to rich. But that's what happens when all you care about is getting reelected, and we have the best politicians money can buy. Yet when my friend Megan Carter, a nurse, needed to buy insulin to stay alive, she couldn't afford it on Christmas Eve of 2018 and died on Christmas Day. Turner voted against the Affordable Insulin Act. When Americans can afford the F-35 but can't afford insulin, whose lives are we really protecting?
I want to bring in Congressman Mike Turner of Ohio. He is the top Republican on the Intelligence Committee.
My opponent is the chair of the House Intelligence Committee. He has access to our country's most valuable secrets and knows the proper precautions that are mandated to be taken with classified intelligence information. But if he's not getting his way, he leaks classified information that would get any Right Pad employee a trip to the slammer. He actually had the nerve to try to tell the president what to declassify. Listen to the expert.
It's important to understand that what the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee has done here, Mike Turner, is fundamentally leak information. He is an intelligence leaker.
I guess at this point, we shouldn't be surprised that he defended the only president who called on his followers to attack our Capitol and committed treason.
President Trump has more classified material in his head than he's going to have in his desk. But yet they raided his home to see what he had in his desk, I think the American public won't answer.
I'm still wondering why the House Republicans who voted against accepting the election results on January 6th are still in office. They were elected by those same votes. While we're talking about intelligence, and a lot of discussion has been about artificial intelligence, I find it amazing that most of your elected leadership is technologically incompetent. The biggest threat to our country and your well-being has been here for decades and has made a few companies some of the richest in the world. You are being watched while you watch this video. You are being fed content based on an algorithm. Your time and attention is being sold over and over without you being compensated a single penny. You are slaves to that algorithm, which is working to keep you engaged in capitalism while you are but a digital sharecropper. One of the first things we need to change in the world is to force the Alphabets and Amazons, Metas and Microsofts, and Apples and Androids to pay you for the rights to track and sell your information, time, and attention. Time is money, and you have been being robbed by Adam Smith's invisible hand of capitalism, even as you watch this. Our mental health as a nation has suffered by the power of the echo chamber the algorithms cause, feeding you more and more unverified and unsubstantiated drivel, taking you further down the rabbit hole of hate and division. We're back to the red and blue pill. There are questions we need answers to, and it's not about transgender bathrooms or banned books or if voting machines are rigged. It's about why Congress has healthcare and you don't. Why they get to profit on the stock market and you can barely afford your groceries at the market. Why you have to be registered to vote and donors don't have to register to donate. Yes, the system is rigged and we need to unrig it. Why do I need a background check to become a guardian, but I don't need one to run for office? Why do we spend over $15 billion on election advertising, running for office with campaigns taking years, only to have a choice between two people? Really? Is it just Coke versus Pepsi and that's it? We could fix a lot of things with our elections with a single nationwide primary using ranked choice voting to narrow the field to just a few. We could also build a voter information system so you can actually tell who best fits your worldview. I believe in making America great, but my vision of a great America isn't looking backward, it's looking forward. I want a country that's kinder, gentler, and more loving instead of divided. I want our kids to know the beauty of neighborhood sports, not gangs, of making music in schools instead of on the streets, of parents who can survive on a single parent's income and thrive on two, with an honest day's pay for an honest day's work, where home ownership is accessible for all, and the taxes are fair for the working class and limiting for the 1%. No one needs to be a billionaire while others go hungry, homeless, or without health care. We find our power as the United States when we are truly united, not divided. When we are better together than apart. When we are healthy, homed, fed, and watered in a sustainable and fair way. Frankly, we can't fix the problems of the world until we fix them at home. We need fewer lawyers and octogenarians in government and more creative thinkers. Forget term limits. Let's just cap political and judicial eligibility at 70 and let them retire gracefully instead of dying in office.
Yeah, just say aye. Okay, just aye.
When I say it's time to change your congressman, it's half in jest, because 95% of them get reelected. Of course, this is thanks to the billionaires who are 46% richer than they were in 2020 and who own our political system. It's time to bring us together. It's time for the power of us. I'm David Esrati, and I approve this message.